What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Views from the 22 Lab session. In this episode, we're going to be looking at some plays from Super Bowl 52. Mainly what we're going to be highlighting is how the benching of Malcolm Butler had a huge impact on this game. His absence was felt. His presence was missed. Felt like New England was scrambling for 60 minutes trying to match up, and the Eagles just seemed like they were one step ahead for 60 minutes, and they were exploiting mismatches all across the field. Now, what we're going to be talking about mainly is Patrick Chung. Now, Patrick Chung, in my opinion, is the centerpiece to this Patriots defense as far as how New England wants to match up, how they want to attack, how they want to defend. A little background on Chung. He was drafted originally by the Patriots. He spent a couple years in Philadelphia, and then he came back to the Patriots prior to the 2014 championship season. And when he came back, they changed his role. Instead of having him play deeper, New England obviously signed Revis and Browner that offseason, and they decided to play more man coverage. And what they did was they would have Patrick Chung man up on tight ends. Now, Pat Chung, what he does really well is run support and covering tight ends. As a matter of fact, he is one of the best safeties when it comes to covering tight ends one-on-one. And with Dante Hightower being out, he was their best run defender, with the exception of James Harrison, obviously. Now, in this game, Pat Chung basically became their slot corner, and he was out of position. So what that happens is there was a domino effect to it, where Eric Rowe was out of position, Jordan Richards was in situations he wasn't typically in, and Devin McCourty was all over the place. So we're going to dive into the film. I just want to be clear on this. This is not to take away anything from Philadelphia. Give credit where credit is due. They were the best roster 1 through 53 all year long, and that showed itself. Give credit to Doug Peterson and his coaching staff, Howie Roseman, and the roster that he built. So we're just going to dive into this tape. Bill Belichick has a saying, players win them, coaches lose them. And I think he lost it this time. I think he really cost this organization another Super Bowl. And we're going to dive into it. Right off the top here, just take a mental note of this. This is the first third down of the game. Philadelphia was excellent on 3rd and 4. Nick Foles was excellent on 3rd down. This is a 3rd and 4. But Nick Foles on 3rd down was 11 of 14 for 169 yards. A near perfect passer rating. He had nearly 80% completion. They picked up 9 first downs. Seemed like they were unstoppable all game long. They had an interception that wasn't Nick Foles' fault. And then obviously they punted once. Other than that, it was scoring drive after scoring drive, really. So here's the first third down of the game. It's a 3rd and 4. You see Jordan Richards right here. He's matching up with Zach Ertz. And what that does is it forces Devin McCourty to be in double coverage on Ertz. So Richards and McCourty are in double coverage on Zach Ertz. You see Patrick Chung right here with the other corners, where all the wide receivers are lined up. Now, if Malcolm Butler was on the field, you would see Patrick Chung over here in one-on-one coverage on Zach Ertz, and you would have Devin McCourty helping out somewhere else, and you would have Butler, Rowe, and Stephon Gilmore somewhere on here in some sort of combination. But the point is, you wouldn't have to double Zach Ertz because you have a guy in Patrick Chung who can do that. Now, the Patriots here on this play, they end up running a stunt, and it allows Nick Foles to move to his left and find Alshon Jeffrey, who cuts in, then out. Real heads-up play by Foles, heads-up play by Alshon Jeffrey. I thought it was a bad play to highlight play recognition. I thought it was a low IQ play by Eric Rowe. So we're going to run the play here fast and then run it in slow motion, show you what I'm talking about. He goes in, comes back out, and he gets it. So here what you see, he goes in. Now what Eric Rowe needs to understand right here is that Nick Foles is not looking to throw this football. He is looking to move to his left to find a way to find a passing lane to throw it to Alshon. He just keeps driving, gets out of position, ends up actually falling a little bit. Makes for an easy throw. So they converted that third down. They faced a 3rd and 12. A few plays later, they converted that as well to Torrey Smith. And they end up getting some points out of it on the first drive. We're going to jump ahead here to the second quarter. And it's a 3rd and 7. Again, a lot of these plays that I'm going to be showing you guys are going to be on third down because, like I said, Nick Foles was phenomenal on third down. The Patriots defense just couldn't get off the field. So, as we showed you in the first play, the Eagles made note of the fact that, okay, Jordan Richards was matching up on Zach Ertz. So they figured, well, okay, that comes up again, and they seems to be in one-on-one coverage. We're going to attack it. So there you see they put Zach Ertz in motion, and that ends up putting him in one-on-one coverage with Jordan Richards. So there you see that's Jordan Richards right there, one-on-one. Nick Foles, the minute he sees that, he knows exactly where he's going with this football. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, I promise you that. Had Malcolm Butler been on the field, there's Patrick Chung right here. You see Patrick Chung, he's in the slot covering Nelson Aguilar. I want you guys to take a mental note of that as well. But had Malcolm Butler been on the field, Pat Chung wouldn't have been here. Pat Chung would have been right here, would have been here covering Zach Ertz. And I'm just going to say this, man. The drop-off in coverage skills, man coverage skills, the drop-off between Pat Chung and Jordan Richards is huge. Chung is significantly better than Jordan Richards. And that's just all day. When I watch it from the end zone angle now, when you see it from the end zone angle, Zach Ertz is going to come into your screen late. Nick Foles really, he was seeing the field. He knew exactly where he wanted to go with this football. You could see he just watches it once again just to make sure, keep an eye on his head. He's watching it. At the snap of the ball, he's looking at McCourty, he's looking at Harmon just to kind of keep them home. But he knows exactly where he wants to go with this football. He's waiting. Zach Ertz gets wide open. I mean, that is just way too easy. Again, the drop-off in coverage between Pat Chung and Jordan Richards cannot be overlooked. And it gave the Eagles another easy third down that led to points. So we're going to jump ahead here now to another crucial part of the game. This is in the a little after the 2-minute warning. There's a minute 46 left on the clock. It's a 3rd and 3. So it's a 3rd and 3. You see the score, 15-12. New England was just chasing this game for the entire time. And this was one of those moments where had you gotten them off the field, you would have given the ball back to Brady. He could have gotten some points before the half, came back out of second half. He would have had the ball first, gotten some points there. That famous double up that they do so much and they do so well. But because Butler wasn't there, again, New England was forced to match up in a way that they wouldn't normally match up. So here's the matchup. Here's the personnel. Eric Rowe, man coverage right here. Stephon Gilmore, man coverage right here. Pat Chung, slot corner, man coverage right here. Now, that's Devin McCourty. He's in man coverage on Ertz. And this is Jordan Richards, who ends up in a man assignment on Clement, the running back. And Clement he was huge for the Eagles. He came on late. They started utilizing him more and more as the season went on. He had a couple key third downs against Atlanta, converted a big third down against Minnesota, and he obviously had his fair share of big plays in the Super Bowl. This was one of them. Again, situational football. Had you gotten them off the field here, you could have given the ball back to your quarterback, and he could have gotten a minimum of 6 points or 14 points without Philadelphia ever see in the football, but instead, they got a big play out of this play. Now, again, I told you I'm going to sound like a broken record. Had Malcolm Butler been on the field, what you would have seen essentially is that Devin McCourty would have been in man assignment on Clement, and Pat Chung would have been in man assignment on Zach Ertz. Instead, Pat Chung's all the way out here. So you're going to see off the top right here, Jordan Richards. Keep an eye on Jordan Richards right here. He's covering Clement. He over pursues this. He's way too aggressive, takes a bad angle, and allows Clement to get separation. Deron Harmon has no interest in tackling him. Great job by Pat Chung making the tackle, but in hindsight, I wish he'd have just let him score. Again, watch from the end zone angle, you really get to see just how it happened. I mean, he's beat. Gets upfield better. Takes a bad angle. And they end up scoring here a few plays later, and New England doesn't have enough time to answer. And they go into halftime down by 10. We're going to fast forward now to the third quarter, a crucial 3rd and 6. This is the Eagles' first drive of the second half. New England had just taken the ball down. They scored. They got a touchdown with Gronk. So again, 3rd and 6, crucial moment of the ball game. Now the knock on Malcolm Butler is that he can't cover speed and he has a hard time with drag routes. And that's true. But, you know, drag routes are hard to defend because you're forced to defend the width of the field, which is 50 yards long. And typically, a one-on-one versus a drag route without a robber, that's hard to defend. So we're going to watch this play. Again, this is Jonathan Batamosi right here in man coverage on Nelson Aguilar. Aguilar just runs the drag route. He has no help. And he ends up, he plays it pretty well, but he ends up missing the tackle. And if you've watched Malcolm Butler in the past, the one thing about Malcolm Butler, man, is he is one of the best tackling corners in the NFL. And right there on that drive, on that play, he was definitely missed. His tackling skills, his tackling abilities was surely missed on not only on this play, but throughout the ball game, man. The Patriots just seemed uninterested in tackling. And you're going to see actually from this angle that the throw is a little behind. And I know one thing from watching Malcolm Butler, if the throw is behind and you allow him to recover it, he's going to make a play on the football. He's either going to find a way to rip it out or he's going to bring you down. He doesn't miss too many tackles. He's aggressive. He's a fighter. So you see the throw by Foles. It's a little behind him. It allows Batamosi to catch up, but he's just unable to bring him down. And Nelson Aguilar was able to get some yards out of it. So we showed you some passing plays. I just want to show you a couple more run plays. That was to highlight some of the passing plays. We're going to highlight some run plays. Again, and this really revolves around Patrick Chung. Patrick Chung was out of position this entire game, and Philadelphia took advantage of it. And he was out of position directly because Malcolm Butler was on the field. Now, the one thing we said earlier was that Patrick Chung is the Patriots' best run defender. And here's a situation, and you saw this situation constantly throughout the game, where he wasn't in the box. So here's this situation. LeGarrette Blount ends up getting 10 yards on this play. You see the Eagles are in a gun formation. They're in a shotgun formation. They have the wide receiver stacked on this side. But more importantly, you got Patrick Chung all the way out here. And he's not in this box. And the one thing, man, we're going to keep saying this. He excels in this area. This is where you want Patrick Chung. Instead, you have Landon Roberts and Devin McCourty creeping up here. Now, Devin, man, he really had a bad game. he probably picked the wrong spot to have one of the worst games of his career. You see Landon Roberts. I mean, Brooks just handles him. McCourty isn't aggressive enough. And Blunt gets some yards out of it. Now, a few plays later, I'll show you again. 2nd and 10 now. Again, pretty much the same thing. They get the wide receiver, they put him in motion, so he's in a reduced split, and you have the wide receivers on this side in a stack formation, same play, same formation. Once again, you have Patrick Chung all the way out here and not in here. Your best run defender in key moments in the game in some big runs was nowhere near the box. And it's another great job by this offensive line, man. They handled this defense. They pretty much handled everybody. Again, Landon Roberts and Devin McCourty. I mean, this isn't a great run. It's just really good blocking and really bad run defending. Again, McCourty just doesn't get there. And I mean, look at this. There's essentially seems like there's nothing there. But the problem is the linemen, they got everybody wrapped up. These guys are in control. These guys are in control. I mean, everybody's in control. Nobody's really in a position to make the tackle. So Jay Ajayi just makes that jump cut, keeps his balance as much as he possibly can, and he gets 9 yards out of it. So another run play sets up for a favorable 3rd and 1. And again, your best run defender is not in the box. Now, something I want to show here. Yeah, Pat Chung does actually get injured. He does come back. He misses a few plays. I'm going to show you one more play. And we're going to have to go back in time a little bit to show some of this. So we're going to backtrack a little bit to the 2nd quarter. If you remember the one play I told you to take a mental note of, I wanted you to see something. So here we go. As we talked about, Patrick Chung essentially became the slot corner. And this is Pat Chung in the slot versus your number 1 wide receiver, Alshon Jeffrey. This is not where you want Patrick Chung. This is not a matchup New England wanted. Ideally, you would much rather Eric Rowe there, but instead, because they bench Butler, you're forced to put Pat Chung there. And Nick Foles, that's a matchup he's going to take all day, every day, twice on Sundays, 3 times on Super Bowl Sunday. Gets beat, decent throw, puts it where it needs to be. Alshon makes a really good catch. But again, he gets beat. That's not where you want Chung. Not at all. So Philadelphia, they saw that. They liked it. 3rd quarter now. We're going to jump to the 3:23 mark. Here we go now. So now, since finally New England made the adjustment where they were going to put Stephon Gilmore on Alshon Jeffrey. Now, I tweeted about this, and we even put it up on the views page. I don't have the numbers on me, but again, they're on Twitter. It's on the Facebook page. Stephon Gilmore, when he was in coverage on Alshon Jeffrey, it was 3 targets, 0 catches. Everybody else, I think he had like 6 targets for 5 catches and a touchdown. I mean, they finally made the adjustment, and Stephon Gilmore locked it down. So now, what they're going to do here is they put Nelson Aguilar in the slot, and they have Patrick Chung in the slot again. So this is the same look that they're giving them. The difference is, since Alshon is here, Stephon Gilmore is on him. So they just put Nelson Aguilar versus Pat Chung in the slot. And again, favorable matchup, because this is not where you want Patrick Chung. And they run the same slot fade. Too much speed. Again, the throw is not perfect by any stretch, but it's good enough. Because he's beat so bad. Pat Chung is beat so bad on this play. And it cost them. It cost New England big. So just watch it from the end zone angle, and we'll wrap this up. There you go. So that's basically the video, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, shout out to Philadelphia. They played a great game. They deserve it. But in my opinion, Bill Belichick cost his team. He cost his organization. He cost them a Super Bowl. Players win them, coaches lose them. And there's no doubt about it in my mind that the benching of Malcolm Butler had a significant impact on the Patriots losing this football game. Appreciate y'all tuning in. More videos to come. Views from the 22. We out.